Welcome to AmdiVibes.
Imagine a king who, by the age of 30, had created one of the largest empires the world had ever seen. A military genius who was never defeated in battle. This is the incredible, almost unbelievable, story of Alexander the Great. Born in 356 BC in Pella, the capital of Macedon, Alexander was no ordinary prince. His father was King Philip II, a brilliant military strategist in his own right, and his mother was the fiery Queen Olympias. But perhaps the most influential figure in his youth was his tutor, the one and only Aristotle. The great philosopher taught Alexander everything from medicine and philosophy to ethics and politics, instilling in him a deep love for knowledge and a curiosity about the world that would fuel his future conquests. At just 20 years old, following his father's assassination, Alexander ascended to the throne. His kingdom was unstable, with Greek city-states and northern tribes ready to rebel. But Alexander acted with lightning speed and ruthless efficiency. He didn't just quell the rebellions, he crushed them, sending a clear message to the entire region. Macedon was under new and formidable management. With Greece secured, he turned his eyes to the east, to the colossal Persian Empire, the superpower of its day. In 334 BC, Alexander crossed into Asia with an army of about 40,000 men. What followed was a military campaign that is still studied in war colleges today. At the Battle of the Granicus, and then at Issus, he faced down massive Persian armies led by King Darius III himself, and won decisive victories against overwhelming odds. He wasn't just a general commanding from the rear. Alexander famously led from the front, charging into the heart of the enemy lines with his elite companion cavalry, inspiring his men with his own incredible bravery. He swept through Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator and hailed as a pharaoh. It was here he founded the most famous of his many cities, Alexandria, which would become a legendary center of learning and culture for centuries. But he wasn't done. His ultimate goal was the total subjugation of Persia. The final showdown came at the Battle of Gaugamela. Alexander, heavily outnumbered, used brilliant tactics to shatter the Persian army and send Darius III fleeing for his life. With this victory, the Persian Empire was effectively his. He marched into the grand cities of Babylon and Persepolis, claiming their immense treasures. But even after conquering the known world, Alexander wanted more. He pushed his exhausted army further east, into modern-day Pakistan and India. He fought his way across rivers and faced down war elephants in the epic Battle of the Hyphasis. But here, his loyal and weary troops finally had enough. They yearned to go home, and for the first time, Alexander had to turn back. His return journey was fraught with hardship. He made his way back to Babylon, the new capital of his vast empire. He began planning new campaigns, new explorations, to Arabia, to the west. He envisioned a world where Greek and Persian cultures would blend, a Hellenistic empire connected by trade and a common language. But his dreams were cut short. In 323 BC, at the young age of just 32, Alexander fell ill with a sudden fever in Babylon and died. His death was as dramatic as his life. He left behind a massive empire with no clear heir, famously saying on his deathbed that his kingdom was for the strongest. His generals, the daylight.He, immediately began fighting over the spoils, and his great empire shattered into several new kingdoms. Alexander the Great's legacy is immense. He wasn't just a conqueror, he was a spreader of culture. His conquests initiated the Hellenistic period, a fascinating era where Greek ideas, art, and language spread across the Middle East and beyond, blending with local traditions to create something entirely new. He was a visionary, a brilliant strategist, and a figure of boundless ambition who reshaped the map of the ancient world in just over a decade. He truly was the boy who conquered the world, and whose story continues to fascinate us thousands of years later. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from history. See you next time.
If you enjoyed that video, please like, comment, and share.